Hello, welcome to Energy Focus of the Week. This is Arlene Arnold, and Leslie Romine is here with me, and we're excited to be here. We're looking forward to this time with you, and we have some really interesting energies that are coming up this month, and also that are coming up for the week that we're in. So this goes from today through the 9th, and we're excited to look at what that is. I hope you've all had a wonderful, uh, happy time together with family and friends, and maybe even just a really good time out because we need that as well. So, I'm going to make sure that I'm in the comment section so I can see you. Please say something. Yay, Will. Hello, hello. We're really glad that you're here. It's really fun to see the ones that we know, and we really have a good time with this. So, what? Let's go ahead and get started. Even though people are still coming in, but we'll just let that be how it is. Okay. What we are going to do first is to look at what the information is for the month. You can find this on YouTube on our Transformational Tools uh, page of, I guess it's not a page there, but yeah. So and you can go there and find that, and it'll be in the section that's called Energy Focus for the month. And I do that and get it out on the first of the month, not always first thing in the morning. I had a lot of technical difficulties. I was trying to do something, which I finally did, but it took a long time to figure it out. So anyway, I have a lot of fun with looking at what that is. Well, this one was really pretty amazing because it's prepare for revelations that flip human perceptions. So I want to say a little bit about this, and then we'll look at what that means, and Leslie will help me with some additional information about it. But this is a time of preparation for things that are going to be coming up and made very clear. And they're not all things that you really want to know about. It's not always things that are pleasant. And these things can come up, these revelations can come up in your individual life. They can come up in your family. They can come up in groups that you're part of. But it's also pretty much a worldwide experience of this. So we need to be very clear that this is going to be a time when things come up. And please, please, please do not go into wringing your hands and saying, okay, everything's terrible. No, this is actually going to be a very important time for us, because one of the things that it's going to do is to really point out what's been going on that we haven't really been aware of. That once we know what's going on, we have a lot of abilities to change that. And that's where it comes to flipping human perceptions, because we all live in a place where we have certain perceptions about people, about family, about everything in our life. We have certain perceptions. So Leslie and I are going to talk about a little bit about what you can do about that. So what I tell people is use your intuition, your inner knowing, and your psychic abilities to activate your discernment. I tell you what, discernment has never been more important than it is now. That's how you are able to flip things over. Because if you don't use your discernment, you will tend to be caught up by what's out there, not necessarily what's your truth and what is really happening. So, Leslie, tell us what you know about this.
Well, I do agree that discernment is a very important thing right now, and it always is. But now it's there, since there's so much activity going on, that it's really important to tune into that. Um, I know different ways to access that. is some people use oracles, like the cards we're going to
Yeah.
look at today. And those can be very helpful in tapping into that inner place within ourselves and encouraging us in ways that can be very helpful. Um, Also, I find reading the synchronicities that happen in our lives,
That's so true.
like if something happens and gosh, you're going someplace and oh, there's people I haven't seen for years, or somebody makes a phone call or that kind of things, or you see there's so many ways we can see synchronicities in our daily lives. I think that helps us to remind us, I know it does me, that okay, you're on track, you're paying attention, good, that's where you need to be. And for me, I found that um, one of the things that I learned in transformational tools a long time ago, but it comes up over and over, is this using that inner knowing of both your intuition, which is the purple up here, but also the yellow in the solar plexus, which is, clear thinking and relates to how you are in the world, that sort of thing. And you might add more to that. But um, when I have decisions to make, I don't always remember to use this, but when I do have a decision to make, I try to go in and ask my intuition, does this feel right? Does that, is it resonating with me? Is there a draw to it? Am I excited about it? Do I feel good about going forward? And answering those questions helps. And then the intuitive part in the solar plexus is where I say, does this fit into my life? Is this something I want to see as a part of going forward? And if you can get to those answers and they both go, yes, yes, then it's a go for me. And if there's one hesitation, that means I have to do further inquiry. And whether it's, does it fit exactly? No. Or do I feel like this is a draw? I'm not sure. So I have to just go a little bit farther and inquire what might be there.
You know what else I do is I use my pendulum.
Hmm.
I find that sometimes my mind gets in the way, but I do it with my hand here, so I do my thumb and my pointer finger here. The thumb is yes, and the pointer finger is no, and so then I'll say something like, uh, "This is what's happening," and I get a yes or a no because maybe I'm not seeing what's actually happening. And there's so many ways that you can get that discernment if you just stop, and ask.
You
And
know what else I found, Arlene, is that trusting yourself on your intuition. It's like take a risk, trust it. Go ahead, see it. And the more you build that, the more trust you build.
yeah.
You know, and I
Well,
think
that's really true when Marion and I do this inner plane work. And so we're going into a very deep place on many planes of reality. And so I'll get something, and then she'll say, "No, I don't get that." Well, I learned not to say, "Oh, I didn't do it right." I've learned to say to myself, "Well, it's like looking at the elephant. Maybe I saw the tail and maybe she saw the trunk."
mhm,
There's that story about the blind person who is telling you what the elephant is like, and one of them is examining the trunk, and another the tail, and another the leg, or whatever. So they're getting only a certain part of the story. So Mary and I have learned that when we don't agree with each other, there's something there, but we aren't looking at it exactly this in the same way. And it's really a wonderful thing because in the end we get a more complete picture and it really
mhm.
makes more sense.
Yeah, indeed.
So that finding out how you can best deal with your discernment. Oh, the other thing is that our class on Journal with your knowing self is another way that I get
Mhm.
really clear. And when I was especially new at this kind of thing, I really depended on that because I could simply watch my pen writing the answers and not be involved from the mind. And then I would read it afterwards and go, who wrote that? And it was my inner self talking to me, So I had to get used to that. I just think you have to find what works for you. But boy, is this a time that discernment has to be present, or we will be taken down the road of what somebody else says is true, and that is not necessarily true for us. All
Yeah.
right, well, let's move on. And for the month, the luminary is dawning, which is a beautiful one. You want to put that one up?
Mhm.
Yeah, look at the beautiful red and white and green, and it's just a beautiful one. And because we work with complementary colors, it's nice to see both the red and green in there. It gives it a wonderful balance of the masculine and feminine. So as we face some turbulence from the information that is surfacing, Dawn encourages us by saying this: accept your new growth with faith. That's kind of what Leslie was talking about, trust. You can also say that too: accept your new growth with trust, even as you push through the fog of uncertainty. All right, so there is going to be a fog of uncertainty. And this is one of the reasons that we meet together, because then we get this chance to hear many different points of view and we can feel into what it is all about. But let's not get all upset because we go into the fog of uncertainty. That is not a problem. That is part of the process. Uh, and this new growth can also be a way of letting go of old perceptions. And one of the ways that I visualize this is I get myself up on a high tree, like I would be an eagle, and I'm looking down at my life from there. It gives me this distance so I can see things a little bit more clearly. And then sometimes I see myself having gotten caught up in old perceptions, old beliefs, old things that I think are true. And then I go, oh, I got to look at that a little longer. That may be different than what I thought.
Mhm.
So Leslie, you tell me about what you know about this.
Um, well, as you were saying, it's encouraging us to accept new growth, and a lot of us have been doing a lot of growth right lately,
Yeah.
and it can feel turbulent at times or foggy. We were talking before here, Arlene and I, and we were talking about being foggy, and I said sometimes I feel like I just live there, and we had a good laugh, but you know that it's a good teacher to help to figure out what works for you to clear the fog. And I know sometimes it's just breath work for me, deep, deep breath work, and just stay at it for a while and just fill up the lungs and then get back. Sometimes that helps clear it. Moving, get up, move around, do dancing, go for a walk. I mean, just whatever moves your body sometimes will get you out of it. And going into nature, if you can, um, I know it's been a lot pretty rainy down here, but it's still really, really helpful to be outside for a while. It just brings you back. It's not all, you know, um, housing or buildings or that kind of thing, and you can get back in touch with your innate self and community, being in community like the Vortal, where we get together and have great classes and talking with each other and being there for each other and putting that out there so that people can take advantage of that. I know groups that I meet in are very important at this time because, yeah, and as Arlene says, we can help each other do that.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
By the way, Winter Ray, we're really happy to see you here. And
Okay.
anybody who is just observing, please come in and say hello to us. We like to know who's here. Okay, the other thing for this month of January, we use the two Oracle decks. We use luminaries and the color cards. And I created the color cards, and Lorinda Eileen is the uh, artist that did the luminaries, and then she and I together put together the information. So the other thing that we have for this month is the strength in violet. Now there's a bit of difference between violet and purple. Now you can see mine looks sort of violet here, and Leslie's looks purple.
Purple.
That really is the difference in our
Mhm.
cameras, but there is a difference here. I find that the violet is much more of a transmuter. It really deals a lot with how to change the what's energy is like, especially if you have energy that is not very comforting or is not very much what you really want. Uh,
Mhm.
so so but purple was what you were talking about early, the purple in the head that needs
Mhm.
to be connected with the yellow and the solar plexus in order to get our very best ability to discern.
Yeah.
So this is an important color. And the what I picked out from the violet is compassionate detachment. Now, I was talking about getting up above a situation and looking at it from there. That's detachment. If you're too close to it, that's why sometimes I'll call Leslie and say, "Can you tell me what you see here?" Because I'm too close to it. And that's why we need each other. Sometimes we just need a little bit of extra um, understanding of what it is. And in this case, it's saying compassionate detachment. And we're going to find out that we have also the strength and magenta for this week. That is compassion. So it's kind of interesting how we have these things for the month, and then the week kind of just comes right into that. But anyway, I think compassion is like so important because the problem is that we can really get taken over by all of the drama and all of the wringing of hands, all of the perceptions that people have. And that's why we will emphasize over and over again, you have got to go inside. Find out what your truth is. Check it out with somebody that you trust if you want to. Come and be part of the Vortal and have the opportunity to hear what other people have to say. And we can support each other from there. So this is a really important time to be a part of a group of people who are very much wanting to find truth from inside themselves and who are very much wanting to be here to help humanity make it through this time period and back into the human beauty and magnificence and all of what humanity has to offer when it goes into its true self. And that's what we're here to do. And we do that by being that. So this is what our job is right now, is to be compassionate detachment, to be this dawning energy and push through the fog and have the faith and to use our intuition. All of these things that we're talking about, the discernment that comes from that, all of that is us doing the work, being that which it is that we are asking for humanity to be.
Mhm.
So, what do you want to say about that strength in violet?
Um, the part that continues to stand out with me is to see with new eyes. And it's a willingness, I think, to be able to see with new eyes and say, I may have felt this before, and I see that feeling coming up again. And let's take a second look. Let's take another look, a bigger look, a wider look, and consider how I could choose to know that this is going on at the same time, but I'm compassionately um, detaching. And sometimes that compassion is compassion for myself to detach.
We have to do that.
Yeah.
We have to do that.
Because if I get too involved, then, or I get not just involved, but if I get into that energy of, oh dear, oh no, oh God, what's next, then I'm not in the energy of compassion, and so just stepping back and I can't, I'm a human being. I can't help but have my feelings about it. But it's like, okay, I accept that this is what's happening. This is what's going on. This is how I have felt in my own self. What is my truth? Like you said, what is my truth? And how can I extend compassion both to myself and to what's going on? And part of my thing is, it's only what's going on in the moment,
I was
because
just going to
things
say
can
that. Yeah.
change, and they can change for the better. They can change in a different way. So I want to allow for that, and I think compassion allows for that.
Well, and the thing that I know is that we have to stay in the moment. Because if we're not in the moment, we're thinking about something in the past. And sometimes I do that because that's where I go to find out how to heal something. Or we're real worried about what's in the future. But the only thing we can do anything about is right here, right now. So it's so important to stay in the moment and to stay in your truth inside. Not taking on what somebody else believes, but just listening and considering what's there, and then coming back here and saying, what is true for me?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have Renee has joined us. Hello, Renee. It's so nice to see you. And Grace is with us. We're really glad to have you here, Grace.
Yes.
This is like old home time. All the people coming in that we've known for a long time, Leslie. All right. Well, now we're going to move on to the cards for January, the 3rd through the 9th. So from today into Thursday of next week. So I showed you this a minute ago, but this the strength in magenta that is called. What I picked out was compassionate healing. In the color cards, the chapter has a number of different paragraphs, and there's a title of the paragraph. And so I go through and I say, okay, what is it that feels that it's like here in this next week? And it was compassionate healing. And then I realized how close that is and how important that is with the compassionate detachment. And Leslie talked a little bit about that, the importance of having that compassion. And if we have the detachment at the same time, it can really come from a really deep place inside of us. And this is, it's interesting because this magenta is compassionate healing and the violet is compassionate detachment. And we're going to have violet with us the whole month. So we have both of the magenta and the violet with us in this next week. Anything else you want to say about magenta, Leslie?
Well, you talked about violet being a transmuter. So is magenta a transmuter, and it can help to shift things for us quickly or shift them in a way that really brings new understanding to us and a new energy. So I would say it's talking about the strength that's already within us being activated.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, it says that this month there are going to be revelations. Well, this is important to use compassionate healing as part of that, because we're going to find that old things come up, some old things with relationships, some old things with just how things are on the earth right now. There can be a lot of pain and anger and depression that comes up. So don't feel like, well, something's wrong with me because all of this coming up. Just say to yourself, oh, these are part of the revelations. I can use this, like Leslie was saying, I can use this as part of my healing. If I recognize it, then I have an opportunity to do something about it. And this coming together that we do in the Vortal is so important. And you've got to have someone you can trust, who's not going to say, well, that's not true, or is not going to say, boy, you're really on the wrong track. I've had to figure that out with my family because they just come from a different place. And I found that the compassion that's there is just compassion for me and my family. And then it becomes all about love. It doesn't become about what our differences are. There are words they use I wouldn't use. There are words I use they wouldn't use. So it's about allowing that there are differences, but you can still have a compassionate connection.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. I agree. The whole thing about revelations and stuff coming up, and helping each other. Sometimes I find it's okay to just, like, if I'm feeling the anger, I'm feeling that stuff, to back up, and just give myself some time and say, yeah, I was feeling that. That doesn't fit with who I am or what I hope to see in this world. And that's different than me. It's okay, but talk to yourself and say, how can I see this in a way that is compassionate for me and for them, and for family.
And that's really that thing of detachment. In order to go there, you have to have detachment. And sometimes in order to go into that compassionate place, you have to heal something in yourself.
Absolutely.
Other people bring up some of the things that you haven't truly accepted. And a lot of that is emotions. And, please don't be afraid of being with the emotions that you have. But if you become overwhelmed, get some help. And both Leslie and I do sessions that we can help you with. And sometimes you need to go to a regular counselor through the medical insurance that you have. Whatever feels right to you inside, find that. It can be yoga. My husband Peter and I are doing qigong with Stacy. We do it just 2 times a week, but it really makes a difference. So I hope that you will find that place where you can really come into whatever is left there that hasn't been fully healed. And I find it's in layers. I mean, I've dealt with certain things over and over, but each time it's a new layer. And in the beginning, I wouldn't have been ready to go into the next layer, but now I could do that. So now let's look at our other card. This is from the Luminaries, and this is called Crown. This is one of the cards that I was sort of mystified at first when they came up and what came through my writing. So here's what Crown. First of all, let me say that it's the energy of the number 10. 10 is a completion before you go into a next phase. So think of that as we're talking about Crown. These are times of many opposite emotions, thoughts, and body symptoms. We have been working on healing whatever it is not in alignment with who we are. Perhaps you want to rest from all that, and yet there's more to do. So what crown says, will you gratefully accept the crown? Its halo signifies your inner awakening. Its brilliance declares the oneness of all. Step in forward, accept the divine intention to create in and through a world come of age. I know that it doesn't look like the world's come of age, but it has. And there are many, many souls in form and not in form that are helping us with this huge change that is happening. So we need to be in the presence of that. We need to be that. And so accepting this crown simply says, I accept the fact that I'm having an inner awakening and that I am here to offer something to this change, this world that's come of age and is ready to change. So Leslie, what would you say about that?
Well, just what you said at the end, I kind of posed it as a question to myself. How can I accept a crown while I'm still working on myself? It's like I thought a crown meant ta-da, you've achieved it. Well, when I reread it and have thought about it, it's an acknowledgement of our willingness and ability to create this awakening in ourselves and to our communities and then out to the world. So it's like an acceptance of our role, acceptance of our purpose, acceptance of our higher self awareness. And that doesn't seem so intimidating when I think of it that way.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have crown and we have the strength in magenta. These are our cards for this week. And so many of you, I think, have the luminaries and the color cards. Get them out. This is the mini color cards. You can also go in and there is a larger card that doesn't say anything on it, but it is the color of magenta. You can put that out and then go into the book, into the strength in magenta, and see what the message is for you. And then for crown, really think about honestly saying, I accept this crown of awakening. I know that I'm awakening, and I know that I'm ready to accept this crown. And you'll be surprised. It really draws to you all of the help that's been standing out there. In fact, very often when I get to that point where I'm really ready to make a change, I feel and see with inner eyes this whole group of beings around me. They're all clapping and go, she got me, yay. So I think we have way more help than we really realize. So now, but we're going to go into your readings for you. And one of the things that I want to say first is I really, really encourage you to join the Vortal. We are having so much fun, and we're also learning a lot together. And I'll be doing our usual getting together where I talk a little bit about what's going on this month, and then we go into small groups and we start talking about it together. And we really have an opportunity getting to know other people in the Vortal and to really think about some things together with other people who are seekers and who are ones aiming at living out all of what we know is true inside of us and finding that truth. So if you will go to transformationaltools.com, you will find the information on the homepage there that tells you about this. So I see that we have some more people that may be just watching. If you would come in and say hello, we would love that so that we could do a reading for you. And who do you have on your list, Leslie, that's first?
Will.
All right, Will. We appreciate you, Will. You are always here supporting us. Love that. Mm-hmm. So shall I pick the luminary first?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sort of losing my voice. Oh. Okay, let's see what's here for Will. And remember, if you get the same card for this week or this month, it just means pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Oh, well, this is love. This is one that Peter and I used at our wedding ceremony. It's such a wonderful card. So let me just see what this is about for you, Will. You know, I'm going to read that one part out of here because these words I think are very much for you, Will. Let me find it first here.
I'm still looking for it. There it is.
Page 48. Okay. Here we go. This is in the very first part of it. We'll just take this in and feel this. Now, as the veil thins, humanity sees clearly that love was never lost. Compassion, acceptance, transformation, encouragement, allowing, embracing, offering, and co-creating are all available as we remember we are one with our divine source. So what I'm getting, Will, is to go to these words that are in the first part of the luminary love and just feel into that because for some reason, acceptance and embracing is standing out for you out of here, but there may be something else that is there for you. It's really interesting because accepting and embracing means that you have to be really in touch with your inner self because what you want to embrace, you want to have that be in total alignment with yourself. So be sure as you're going through this, and especially the acceptance and embracing, be clear about what it is that you are accepting and embracing, and then feel how that is in alignment for you. All right, we haven't had this particular luminary very often, so
No. And the color card that I drew that came up for you seems to fit into what she was saying. It's the lesson in orange. Allow all your emotions to be felt. And I noticed that blue is also the complementary color here, which is, of course, expressing that emotion, expressing that creativity. And what I was getting was that there are things that draw you and you feel a great love for them, or at least an attraction for them, and wanting to delve into them. And it's saying, and I was getting is allow that emotion to really be felt and to really be
yeah, that's
yeah, like you said, embracing it and going with it, and feel it, feel it and go for it, and know that this is part of your joy, that you're actually going yes, and moving forward with it.
that's very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Now, well, who do you have next?
Winter Ray.
Okay. All right, Winter Ray. Let's see what card is being called to you today. Is it this one? No. Yes. Well, it's celebration, Winter Ray. I think you got that one not too long ago. This is what a time of year to get the card celebration. It's really wonderful for you to be feeling into all of the things you're grateful for. And every time something comes up and it's really difficult for you, find out what you can be grateful for because you're being called to celebrate. celebrate all of what is part of your life, even the things that are difficult, because that's where we learn a lot. And just celebrate the fact that you're here, you're informed, you chose to come at a time when things are changing big time for humanity, and you get to feel this, see this, and be drawn into whatever part you are to play for that. So be open to that, Winray. Be in that celebration mode, and just find the things that you want to celebrate right now, and then be open to whatever comes next.
Okay. Be open to what's next. I like that. And your color card fits right in. It is the lesson in indigo. And remember, indigo is that very high color that's found at the back of the skull. And yeah, they really look different in the here.
Yeah.
I think mine's closer to indigo.
Yes, I think so too.
But it's saying trust what you know. In other words, when you are doing this, finding something to celebrate, trust that you know that this is worthy of your trust. I mean, something you love, something you resonate with. Maybe it's painting, maybe it's creating something, maybe it's doing the thing you love that acknowledges that beautiful self that you are, that beautiful being of light that you are, and reminding yourself, yep, I've got this. I can be here in the midst of all this stuff and be me and love what's happening with me, and love how I'm transforming and moving through things, and being able to see things in a positive, loving way.
All right.
Yep. And we have Renee next.
Okay. All right, Renee, let's see what the luminary is wanting to be with you today. Oh, this is one I think we all need. Simply Self. Simply Self is so much of a reminder. Don't make your life complicated. Find a way to simplify. And boy, am I working on that for me. And it's coming, which is really exciting to me. I really am so grateful for some of the suggestions I've had, and for the things that are happening. And it's very organic. And I think that we need to all look for that. So Renee, what I'm getting for you is that there are a lot of things going on in your life, always. And finding that place where you can take a breath, finding that place that feels less complicated, finding that place to just feel how wonderful it is to be with your family. And doing that bit about sitting and attracting to you what it is that you need in terms of your job, in terms of your family, in terms of your personal. Just be with that and allow that to come to you. And that way, in that simplified form, it won't feel like a lot of work. It won't feel like confusion. So that's what I'm getting for you, Renee.
Wow. That's awesome. That was an awesome one. And I got strength in turquoise. Wow,
Yeah.
wow. This is really supporting that whole idea of simplify, and this is about, your purpose, and full of integrity within yourself, and to putting it out there purposefully. And, she says, I'm reminded when Arlene says to take a breath and then think of how you can attract it. And boy, this is a card that will really help you do that.
You know why it's different, Leslie? It's because of the light I have on.
Sure.
It
Yeah.
isn't given quite the right color.
Yeah.
All right.
And Grace is next.
Yes. Okay. So, Grace, let's see what's here for you. Oh, this is another one that's really important right now. This one is called Vortality. It's the one that we got the name Vortal for our community from. And Grace, what this is about is allowing life to be very much organic. Or, we tend to want to, uh, take over and control whatever it is that's coming up. And what is the real important part of this is allow. So I really encourage you to look at how you can make your life more organic, so that things. It's kind of what I was talking to Renee about, where things come to you, where you're clear about what it is that you would like some help with, and that help will come from the human plane, but it'll also come from beyond you. So really get yourself in that position where you feel like you are really bringing to you everything that is needed at this time. That's
Mhm. Beautiful.
And
Okay.
I see we have a Sandra here. So
Wait,
Sandra, well,
I have to do the color card for Grace.
yes.
Yes. Um, so Grace, I got strength in magenta.
Ah,
So we have it for our month or week, and this is saying, "Boy, are we there for you." Um, Transmuting and helping you to be organic and allowing, and this compassion of this card can just pour over your head and down your body and through your energy field, and just remind you how many helpers you have, and how what to remind you of who you are in this place and time, and how your work and your being here, you're simply being, and being who you are, is adding to this beautiful energy in the world. Yeah. So remember and be compassionate.
well, it's interesting because the card that I picked from the luminaries for Sandra is attunement, and notice how it has magenta in it. So
Mm-hmm.
magenta is really up right now.
Mm-hmm.
Sandra, this one is called attunement, and it really has to do with, yeah, how we stay in alignment within us, because as we make changes, I always think about, I don't know if you remember this, but when we first had computers, and sometimes you had to do I can't remember the term now, but you were cleaning up what was in your computer. And what would happen is some things would be deleted, but other things would just be aligned, so they're in the right place. And it's kind of like that is what has to happen for us as we move forward now, because we're letting go of some things. And then there needs to be a realignment of our energy so everything lines up. And one of the things that I did today in a session that I had um, is to do the rainbow sweep, and Leslie's very familiar with that too. And what it does is it comes down, all the colors come down through you, and they remove anything in your energy field and your body that you are finished with. And then you do it again, and it brings down all the colors that fill the places where you let something go, so that you don't have any openings in there. You just simply have a completion of where you are right now. And I always think of attunement also as being in alignment. Everything needs to be in alignment with your inner knowing. And that's also helpful to be in alignment by grounding into the earth and connecting to the divine source. So that one's a really important one right now, and it feels to me like, Sandra, like a lot's going on for you. There's certain changes that are happening for you. Uh, be really come close to yourself. I don't think it's a time to share a lot right now, but just to feel it inside yourself and hold it close to yourself. You will know if there is a time or a person that you're to share it with. All right.
And I got Lesson in Blue, Speak Your Truth from Deep Within. And this is that place in your throat area where we speak our truth. It's a very creative place because we know words create. And what I was getting with this is that that as you are aligning in your attunement, part of that alignment has to do with speaking your truth from deep within. And it's asking you to go very deep within and look at how and what you say and how you speak, and whether that resonates with your truth from deep within. And I was getting, we talked earlier I don't know if you were here, but we talked earlier about writing from your knowing self. And we do classes on that a couple times a month. Arlene does, but maybe writing it out, what you're feeling or what's up for you, and will help to bring that out and bring it into a place where you can see it, and read it and think about it, and get that vision of that alignment that you're going through. Because if it's a certain thing, I'm getting like, if it's a certain thing, you can write it out, and then, whatever comes to your mind, just see what comes up and out for you. And just, because sometimes it's a revelation, like we were talking about. It's like, I had no idea that was there. And there it is. So that might be helpful.
And that particular class is, I give it twice a month. And for people who are part of our community called the Vortal, it's free for them. And the first time that I offer it this month is noon on Wednesday the 8th. And so it's coming up this next week on Wednesday. Now, how you can find out more about this is go to transformationaltools.com and then go to events. And it will have in there where you can go to sign up for Journal with Your Knowing Self, and it will have the dates in there for you. So we're really happy to have you here, Sandra. I hope you will come back, bring a friend. We just enjoy doing this. It's always a good time to feel like we are together, that we're supporting each other. So that's all I have. Do you have anything else, Leslie, that you want to bring?
No, except that just amazing readings today. And the overall feeling is that, boy, are we supported.
Yes.
Boy, are we supported through this time. And we are the ones that are moving forward.
Yep. Yep.
So.
All right. Well, everybody have a wonderful week. Go to YouTube and find the energy focus of the month, and it's the Transformational Tools YouTube account. All right.
Also, if you didn't come in early and you want to see the first part of this, we're there too on YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah.
Right.
And this it'll be in both places, and you can go back and watch it. Good. All right.
All right.
Bye for everybody. Have a great week.